Good evening. I'm Kristin Seale, and I'm running for the 168th House District, which is...
The cord's too short, I'm sorry.
I'm running for the 168th House District, which is Media, Middletown, Newtown Square, Edgemont, Upper Providence, Ward 5 of Marple, a little bit of Glen Mills. I'm running because my district is 52% women and has never had a woman represent this district to the legislature. I'm running because that legislature only has 18% women and representation matters. And I'm running because I'm qualified. I've spent the better part of the last decade as an advocate in 2 Republican-dominated state legislatures in both New Mexico and Pennsylvania, successfully getting bipartisan legislation passed and implemented on everything ranging from poverty law to women's health to environmental and energy issues. I'd like to do the same for the 168th House District. One of the most important issues that my district faces is one that I worked on as your school director and while I was running my Rose Tree Media School Board campaign last year, and that's the Mariner East 2 pipeline. I've been fighting the Mariner East 2 pipeline with that gentleman that held the sign up and my friends and neighbors since August of 2016. I'm proud to be one of the first people that took place in the first ever public action walking that pipeline, and I will continue to stand with and walk with all of my neighbors in this community and find a way to bring disparate people in this polarized legislature together to stop the Mariner East 2 pipeline and protect the children of Glenwood Elementary, my neighbors who are losing their home value, and everyone in this community. Thank you. So I'm a huge proponent of a universal healthcare system and of Medicare for all. I believe that we owe everyone healthcare as a human right. I believe that we deserve healthcare that is free of copay, prescriptions that you can afford, and that no one should ever have to choose, as Tanner said, between paying the rent, buying the groceries, or paying a medical bill, or paying for their prescription. I think Medicare for All is a start. It doesn't perfectly adequately address all women's health issues because it doesn't currently cover women that are of reproductive age. There are a lot of solutions, however, and you asked earlier that we talk a little bit about how we would actually get policy done. There is already a coalition of people working on Medicare for All, and so part of what would be necessary would be for someone like Tanner and I to be working together across the 2 houses of the legislature, coalescing with people, bringing people together around the issue, and trying to create some kind of working relationship across both bodies so that we've got functional bills that both sides can agree to, that aren't terribly different, and that can be passed easily through both houses. I think there's actually quite a lot that the legislature could be doing top down to eliminate institutional and structural racism in the body itself. Even just the recognition that it has been statistically proven that people are disadvantaged, treated poorly, and treated differently, not just during the stop, whether that stop was legitimate or not, but all throughout the system. As you saw in the incident in Starbucks, people were, on the request of a white woman, taken away for 8 hours and held for doing nothing more than waiting for a friend. So legislators' acknowledgement that this exists and needs to be addressed is a place to start. When I worked in New Mexico, part of what we did is we took a race and gender lens on policy. So every bit of policy that we worked on, we looked at and did a test to make sure that it was not somehow incidentally disadvantaging women or disadvantaging people that are underserved or disadvantaging people that are not Caucasian. And I think that this is a way that the legislature could start to address systemic and institutionalized racism. As far as policing, I think that there are many, many different places that are doing an effective job of bringing all sorts of different politicians, law enforcement, and people in the legal system together to work on solutions with people from the community, with community-informed and community-based research and community coalitions led by people who are impacted by this violence.
Okay, thank you.
So there are many, many bills that are on the floor right now. There were 2 weeks of hearings in the House and Senate over the last couple of weeks on multiple bills that have been put forward on both sides of the aisle. I think that there are some pretty standard issues that we can address right away, and that is surrounding bump stocks, rifles, background checks, making sure that we are strengthening background checks in our state, making sure that we are, stopping the bills that are on the floor right now that want to arm teachers and staff that are not security in our school districts. In the Rose Tree Media School District, just a week ago, we worked with our community, with parents and with students, to bring forward a resolution and a statement, not just in support of the students and parents saying that we will not arm teachers, staff, and aides in our district, but also in support of some of this legislation. We went a little bit of a step further to make a statement in support of this parent and student group, to stand with them and say that common sense gun legislation is something that our school district and our school board supports. It's something that I personally support, and it's something that we're making as a recommendation to every level of government in this state. So I think that we can all get behind that. So for a good deal of my career, I've been a communications professional. I'm a really big believer in communication. And like Tanner, I spent the majority of last year while I was running for school board, knocking doors in the heart of the 168th district. I knocked the most doors of any candidate in that race, and it showed in my vote totals and the turnout that we had specifically in my part of the district in Media Borough. I think that that kind of voter contact cannot be imitated in any shape or form. That one-to-one, showing up at township and borough council meetings, showing up at community meetings, attending senior center meetings, and just being available through your constituent service offices, through your staff, and through, other more modern communications channels. Obviously, there's phone, there's internet, there are ways for people to communicate with you, but something that I've been really committed to and that I've been able to demonstrate so far on my seat and in the school board is that I'm a two-way communicator. I'm very much here to listen to you and serve you. I want to hear what matters to you. I want to do the things that you send me to do in elected office. And so my commitment is to constant two-way communication. I'll open up many avenues for you to reach me and be the listener that you need so that I can be an informed voice to work on the things that you care about. Thank you so much for spending your evening here with us. I cannot thank you enough for caring, first and foremost. That's what's going to matter. That's what's going to change things this year. I want to leave you with just a little bit of my resume. I work full-time. I work full-time as a public servant and an advocate. I've been a lifelong activist, advocate, and public servant. I work full-time because I have to, because my family depends on my income. And like so many other people I know that come from a two-income, hard-working, should probably be middle-class household, we can't afford for me to take 3 or 4 or 9 months off to talk to you and run for office full time. We have to pay our student loans. We have to pay debt. We have to pay our overhead expenses. We have children. We're struggling like a lot of people that have good jobs with benefits. Our co-pays for healthcare are $60 a doctor visit. Not everyone can handle that. We have healthcare. We're fortunate to have it, but that's prohibitive for some people. We struggle just like other people in our community. And for me, we cannot change what happens in our government if there isn't a place for working people. When I was younger in my career, I was union labor. I believe in organized labor. I have seen the way that that can lift people out of poverty and help them fulfill their human potential with dignified work and adequate benefits and ways to support their family. If we don't have working people fighting for working families and fighting for people without resources in our government, in my opinion, we are all lost. I have a proven track record in 2 difficult state legislatures of finding common ground with people that are not from my party and people in my party that are not as progressive as me. I'm endorsed by Emily's List, the Victory Fund, national progressive organizations because I'm pretty far left. but I've been able to work with people, meet them where they are, and get successful legislation passed and implemented that protects the health and lives of people. I'd like to do the same for you. I hope that you'll vote for me, Kristin Seale, on May 15th. Thank you.